Hello, podcast listeners and anime fans. This is Torin.
And this is Andrew.
And today we're going to do our end of the year episode. So, yay. When this goes live, it should be only a few days. I think this is going to go live on the 27th. So, nearly New Year's at that point. So, I guess Happy New Year's to all of you that are listening.
Yeah, and happy holidays for the people who have already gone through their holidays at this point.
Yeah, and are celebrating all the various holidays. So, happy holidays to everyone. With today, though, since it is the end of the year episode, we are going to talk about all of our favorite anime that released in 2021. So we're looking at stuff, in essence, by calendar year. So January.
You're dating this episode so badly.
Oh, yeah. Came out in January through December. So the current season that just wrapped up is finishing. So the way we're going to kind of go through this, the plan is that Andrew and I will kind of go back and forth, sharing some of our favorite anime that came out this year. After that, we're going to attempt to rank our own personal top 5 for the year. I'm sure people are going to dig into us.
We're going to rank our top 5.
We're going to.
Everyone else's opinions are going to be different.
They're going to very much be different. But feel free to share those opinions. What is your potential top 5 rank? Just let us know. You can email us at animedigression@gmail.com or tweet at us at animedigression. Or if you're watching on YouTube, hello people, comment it down below and let us know what yours is and what some of your favorite shows are. And I'm sure some of you will let us know why we're also wrong about our top 5, despite the fact it's personal. That's how it goes. Before we get into this, though, the next show that we're going to be covering, if you like to watch ahead, is going to be Realist Hero. So I forget the entire full title because I forgot to put it on the list. So for all of you,
How a Realist Hero Saved the Kingdom, I believe it is.
There we go. I think that's correct. But Realist Hero. With that, we'll attempt to not spoil anything in these shows. That way, if you would like to watch them, you can go ahead and watch them without spoilers. Though I am going to put a spoiler alert anyway in case one of us says something that we didn't intend to.
We will attempt, and we will likely fail.
We'll likely fail on some of these shows. Most of them, I think it'll be all right.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get into anything particularly deep.
Nope. Which, we'll find out. With that, Andrew, kick us off with one of your favorite ones that came out this year.
I gotta mention JoJo, which dropped all 12 episodes of the first season of Part 6 on Netflix all at once, and I watched all of it because I'm a JoJo fan, and I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to rank that because it just happened.
It's difficult.
There was no build up. There was no lead into the next episode.
It's difficult.
I had to watch all of them to avoid spoilers, despite having already read Part 6.
Yeah, it is really difficult because this is, I think, what I was talking to you about. Why Log Horizon to end up on my list, because when they all drop at once and you watch them all at once, because I had to go back and watch it, it's hard because it's harder to get that buildup of suspense. You don't have that brew time of waiting for like a new episode to come out.
And feel the previous episode. Like when, Game of Thrones came out, and that was weekly, and the whole week people were talking about the last episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you don't have that time to mull it over or talk to friends or whatever and like discuss, what do you think's going to happen? What, like, you just know because you just binge watch them all.
Yeah, I can't text you like, this happened in JoJo, and you can't respond with, I don't care.
Well, yeah, because I have not watched JoJo. At this point, it's just there's so much to it. It's one of those shows where it's like, can I dedicate that much time?
That's fair enough.
Because it's so far.
I'm not forcing anyone to watch JoJo. It is a long and very focused thing.
Well, maybe you could tell people at least, did it fit JoJo? Is it?
It's definitely still JoJo. It's definitely very entertaining, and I'm definitely going to keep watching it whenever the next season comes out on Netflix.
And you said that was Netflix for those that want to watch it, which is pretty accessible. Netflix seems to really be stepping up their game with anime. I kind of hate it, though, at the same time. They have 2-week delays on releasing episodes because they won't release them unless there's a dub, it seems like. So thank you, Netflix. All right. Well, do you have anything else to add to JoJo, or just People,
Nope.
if you
Go
like
ahead.
JoJo, know JoJo. It's on Netflix. Go ahead and watch it.
Yeah.
So for
So
my
what did you have?
yeah, for my first one, because we both absolutely adored it, Restaurant to Another World,
Yeah.
released this season. Oh man, do I love this show so much! But this one's hard to
Oh, I
rank.
I'm so hungry every episode.
Yeah, this one's
I
so
ate
hard.
before the episode I watched last, and I'm still hungry during the episode.
Yeah, the food looks great. The animation's nice. It's got such an uplifting feel, but it is hard to rank it because it's a simple, relaxing, feel good anime. So it's hard to put it up against something else because you don't feel a heavy emotion or anything because you don't get the dips and rises of plot and story. It's you just kind of have a slight smile the entire time you're watching it, and you get hungry because the food looks great. With that being said, I will give them props that that show still manages to make me feel more about their characters than a lot of other shows, despite the fact each character gets like half an episode. Like
Yeah,
the format of the show is two foods usually. So the first half is one food, the second half is another food, and a lot of times there's different characters related to them. So you
yeah.
get
They make one character per food so they can have their favorite food nickname.
yeah, and they make me feel more about those characters in half an episode than a lot of other shows do with an entire season. So props to them.
They're very limited in time, so hit those emotions.
Yeah,
But that requires a good writer. So woo.
yeah, and they do such a good job with that with the fantasy premise, and so you get different stories like vampires. We all already, I think a lot of it is we have preconceptions about these things. Vampires,
You don't have to explain races.
yeah, you can just get into. Oh, I already know that they have this trouble. Like the vampires is a good example. They can just mention, oh, no Irani in the food. Oh well, or no Irani's or onion, whatever the one is for garlic. Oh, none of this, and we already know. Oh, that must be garlic because they're a vampire. So like, we already get this information. So yeah, excellent show. It's available on Crunchyroll and Funimation. So go check it out if you just want relaxing, good food. But what's your next favorite one?
I really like Maid Dragon, Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, rather. Uh, it's in my top 10 for the year, but we're ranked top 5, so it's on this list instead.
Yeah,
I really just like a cute sort of slice of life with a weird twist in that she's still a dragon and there's supernatural aspects to the whole thing.
this is one of those shows I really need to try because I remember the first one came out during my lull where I wasn't watching like 17 anime every season.
Yeah, I remember that. You watched like one show that whole
Yeah,
lull.
I was starting like content creation. I want to say empire, my content creation corner. So it didn't end up happening. I think I watched like the first episode and just was too busy. So I never got around to it. It's a very popular show though. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
assuming is it
I think
continuing?
it's
I'm guessing on par if it's in your top 10.
yeah. Well, I mean, I would say this is a better season than season 1. Even they did cover a bit more plot than, or at least more character development, because the first season was a lot of introducing characters, and now we're doing character development a little bit
That's
because
it's a good sign.
I think the third season might cover plot if they get a third season. There is plot because I read it. I don't know how far in advance that is.
I'll have to see. That is a good sign that they're on track, though. Is a lot of the times with one season, you are going to get almost too much setup, depending how much original content there is and everything that they're basing it off of. And if in the second one they're really getting into character development, that's a good sign that they're going in the right direction. They're not trying to ploy what they had off the first season again. They're actually trying to continue.
Yeah,
the
and just
story.
introducing more characters. No, they keep the main cast for the most part, and then
That's a good sign. So I might have to go back and catch up on this one. Let me know, people, if you also really like it and you think that I really need to go back and watch it.
Yeah, force Torin to watch it.
Or just yell at us if you really want us to cover it in a dedicated episode and force me to watch it. All right. Anything else to say about Maid? Oh, where's that available at? Do you know?
Yeah, it's on Funimation and Crunchyroll.
Some both.
Crunchyroll.
Okay. So yeah, so it is available on Crunchyroll and Funimation. So
Right.
whichever one you prefer, probably Crunchyroll. I'm gonna dig Funimation as much as possible. Their website's horrible. That
Until
part
they
is staying
sponsor
in,
us.
or
Until
or
they sponsor us.
or until Sony, since they own them both now, decides to conglomerate them into one big website. That's probably going to be really bad because Sony doesn't know how to do playback systems.
Which is absurd considering they're
Literally,
like,
video service. Like,
well, yeah, and also like DVDs and
yeah.
video player service.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so I guess my next one, which I know we both liked, is Welcome to Demon School of Rumakun, because this show is just great fun.
yeah, it's so goofy. We've got a crazy cast of characters.
So crazy. I just the premise behind it. I think it's kind of shocking the way they went from it, where it's like, okay, human boy gets pulled into demon world to be
a
the grandkid
grandson.
of like one of the top 3 strongest demons in that world.
You're right.
And you normally would expect that to go. You normally would expect it to be like maybe scary or whatever, but really there's no fear
like,
in the entire thing.
No, he just kind of accepts everything.
Yeah,
which is probably a relation to like his personality and his upbringing. But
yeah, it's it's so good. And this was obviously this year was a continuation. And I think they held true. Just kept the goofy nature, the great fun feel. Characters seemed to stay on par with what we expected them to do and how we expected them to act. And they still managed to pull some really cool new stunts and joke lines, I think. They did try to get a bit more serious in them.
Yeah, they added a bit more romance to this season, romance. I believe, so which I'm sure you appreciated.
Oh, yeah. Oh, great fun. I also like the way they're going about it, too, because it is a backseat. I would not label this at all romance, but they're adding.
This is more a slice of life sort of thing.
Slice of life
with
comedy.
A little bit of growth. Yeah, slice of life comedy with a bit of like growth in the character.
Yeah.
The growth of Iruma.
I'm guessing they're going to continue it, and I'm sure they'll get more into plot, and they'll eventually have to address plot. Like they're slowly working it in, but
probably not.
They'll eventually have to.
Yeah, eventually.
I mean, yeah, they'll eventually.
I think this is the plot as it is his school life.
Well, but I mean,
with a twist.
They keep hinting at the end plot, so I mean, at some point they'll probably get there, or they just won't. They'll put it like right up in front of it. And be like, we're done.
Well, my hero has the plot of he's going to be the strongest hero. How close is he?
Well, I feel like there's a reason that is not on my list for this year.
Well, there's also a reason that's not on my list for this year.
Maybe at some point. Anyway, it's available on Crunchyroll if you want to watch it. I think it's a great show to watch if you like an interesting world structure, world building with a good slice of life comedy. It's excellent for that, and the characters are all sorts of which way, which makes it a lot of fun. And like I said, they have enough plot and interest to keep it going. So yeah, like I said, that's on Crunchyroll. What's your next one that you have, Andrew?
So my next one is Peach Boy, which I have forgotten the full title of and didn't write it down.
I think it's literally Peach Boy Riverside.
Yes, Peach Boy Riverside. We were thinking about talking about this, but now it's been over for so long, I don't think we have the motivation to do it, and also the motivation to do it.
Like the motivation to do it was mainly to rant.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it deserves a point as a good show.
It was a good show in a different order.
It was a good show that the director ruined, is what it comes down to.
We looked it up. The director decided they wanted it in a specific order, which was not the order it was supposed to be written in.
He had two reasons. So the first reason was that apparently all of the original content was not out when they started work on it. So they for some reason couldn't do it all. You could have waited and then done it when all the original content came out within the time they were animating it.
Money.
Well, but the big thing I don't understand is if all the original content's not out, That's the end of the show. So how does that impact the order of the show at all? Like you start from the front and you get to the end before he like. Anyway, the second reason was he thought it would be better in a different order. I don't disagree with him. In shows, having flashbacks or premonitions can be a powerful tool, like jumping around in time a little bit. But both of us don't understand why they didn't do that.
Done in
They literally
in a flashback form. It was just episode out of order.
It's just literally, let's have like episode 1, then episode 4, then episode 5, then episode 2, then like literal episode releases out of order. But yeah, I loved the premise of the show. I thought it was great. The characters are great. The animation was all right. It wasn't bad. But yeah,
it was a cool concept. The animation was good.
It makes me want to go to the OG content because it's like the original content must be pretty good. If my biggest complaint is that they just released episodes out of order. For those who want to watch it though, 1, it's available on Crunchyroll, and 2, you can Google and find a chronological order list that tells you how to watch the episodes. I would highly recommend watching it that way.
Yeah.
But no, I love the premise behind it. Frau is an awesome character. I really want to know what her deal is because there's something there.
There's a lot to the characters that isn't said.
Yeah. So I liked it enough that please give me a season 2. Please use a different director. Get him out of there. Just no. Just please. I would say it was a favorite show of mine, with the caveat that it's in the proper order.
Yeah, it's in a different order than the one displayed. Don't watch it weekly.
They did it dirty. Yeah, they did it dirty. Really bad. Yeah. And I don't think it's going to get a season 2 probably for that reason.
What did you have for your next one?
Oh, next I've been killing slaves for 300 years and maxed out my level. So
it is another good...
nothing happens show.
Nothing happens. Well, I mean, stuff happens, but it's all not that important.
It's not so much plot as much as just stuff happens.
Yeah. You kind of have to have... You can't just sit in a room for 13 episodes. Well, maybe you can. I'm not sure. I haven't watched every anime.
I'm sure there's some that probably feel exactly like that. No, this show is great. It's another one of those where the main character, I think it's technically, is it technically isekai? I don't remember. I actually don't remember if it's an isekai.
Yeah, she dies and the goddess reincarnates her with all of those powers, or the witch powers rather. So, I mean, it's kind of it's not that important of an isekai, but it's there. And
but yeah, the entire premise is that she is isekai'd, and she just wants a normal life. So all she does is kill slimes.
Walk to town and like lays around for
she walks
300 years
to and from town, killing slimes on the road, and like every day she just goes and kills a few slimes to get the money for killing them. That's how she makes money. So after 300 years of doing this, she is a maxed out level. So we just follow her. The typical thing: someone who is super OP, like going about trying to have a lazy life, but they're so OP that everyone that runs across them like is amazed by how strong they are, and she creates her little group of friends from it, and it's so much fun just to watch.
Yeah, friends just fall into her lap at points.
Yeah, I love it. Great character development. I think there's some interesting characters they come out with that I really enjoy. I think pretty much all the characters I like. I don't think there was one that I didn't enjoy or didn't have a fun story.
No, I think everybody had an interesting like flow to them.
Yeah, so it is one of those shows that if you want something that it's fantasy, so you like that feel of fantasy, but you just want kind of a relaxing, enjoyable show. It's not super relaxed like Flying Witch or Restaurant. Like
there is action to it, but it's never like an episode of combat.
They're not trying to gut wrench you, is what a lot of it is, I guess. It's more lighthearted in that circumstance.
Yeah,
but no, I really liked it. Crunchyroll, it's available on Crunchyroll as well. So definitely was enjoyable.
Crunchyroll for most of these.
That's because most of these are Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
What's that tell you? That
Crunchyroll buys a lot of licensing.
Well, not just that, they seem to buy a lot of the licensing we enjoy.
Oh yeah, that's true. Crunchyroll, sponsor us.
Yes, Crunchyroll would totally be for that. What was your next one?
My next one is currently airing Faraway Paladin.
Oh, see, you're
It's
dating it more than I am.
hey,
There's like one episode
we
left, so
now it's dated.
now it's dated.
We could have been recording this like a month ago.
Then I think people would be like, "How can you say you really like these shows if it's?" I don't know. Anyway, yes. No, Fairway Paladin. Nice.
It's good. It's an interesting world. It's so slow.
Oh man, that's so slow. This one is suffering. Its only suffering that I have for it is that it's is so much setup. It's slow because it's a lot of setup. I don't think he technically starts on his quote unquote adventure till like halfway through.
Yeah, I think it doesn't leave the temple area till
Um,
like
and even
episode
then,
6 or 7.
it's probably going to end this with like pretty much just a cliffhanger. It seems.
Yeah, I am pretty sure it's going to leave it off on and now I really start my adventure with a new title.
Yeah, like maybe add one more person to the party, and we're ready to start. Could you?
Yeah.
No.
We've got a bard, a merchant, a spirit user, and everyone else.
Yeah, I really like it too. It's like you said, the premise is good. The world building, I think, is excellent. I love the fact it's pulling the. Uh, you could almost think of it as a fantasy post-apocalypse. I guess is
this is post the Demon King, like how the world is after the Demon King is killed, basically.
Yeah. So it's gonna at some point the Demon King's revived or whatever, and
that feels like where it's gonna end.
Yeah,
and he's gonna reclaim the title of his parents, basically.
Yeah, I do love that premise of taking the fantasy Demon King thing and saying, okay, that's done. Like we're gonna show after that, which is a very fresh take on it. It is isekai, but so far that is completely irrelevant.
Not really. It's mostly his motivations.
Yeah.
In the same way that killing slimes is, her motivation is I worked too hard, so I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And his motivation is I was lonely, I didn't do anything.
He didn't accomplish anything, I guess.
Right. So now he wants to accomplish things.
Yeah. It seems like his motivation was that he didn't in his previous life he amounted to nothing. Like and now he wants to amount to something. He wants to relive that life, which is a pretty common trope, I think, with isekai as far as that premise goes. No, but I love the world building for it. It's got the animation too is the look of the animation. I think is actually really nice. It's more of that muted tone, not super high contrast.
It's not gritty, but it's closer than the like high contrast, like cutesy.
No, but I thoroughly enjoyed it too. So that's on Crunchyroll as well. Funimation, I guess, get your act together. I say that I think some of my top shows though are for Funimation only. But yes,
including I believe this next one.
Oh yeah. So my next one is I know you haven't watched, but Taisho Otome Fairy Tale, also another one from the current season that's wrapping up.
You have talked to me about this.
Yeah. Oh man, do I enjoy it? This would have been in my top 10 if we did 10, I think. Taisho it's a romance. But the big thing I think with Taisho is it's one of the romances and one of the shows that does not back down away from showing the dark side of things. Like the entire premise of the show is that the main character is super depressed, and what ends up being his wife that shows up. That his dad got him a wife. So the whole show is her bringing him out of that depression, in essence, like giving him a reason to want to continue to live and all that. They don't shy at all away from that premise of showing his depression, showing how like it can take small triggers to make someone revert back to like a depressed state. They completely dig into that, which is heavy, but at the same time, nice relief. Like to actually see emotion being played out and show that premise. And I think they do a good job with it. They do fall into a bit of the trap where the girl is I don't think they really show her at all showing a troubled side. Like anytime they kind of show her being troubled, it's more that she's upset that he's troubled. Like she's
Mm.
almost too she's super positive in essence the whole time.
She's somewhat one dimensional in that.
She's anchored, yeah. She's kind of anchored in a one dimensional kind of thing of always being happy and only caring about him. But the fact that they're using that as a foil to him, it's forgivable. Plus, she's an enjoyable character. So I think it's a really nice romance. If you like romances, but you want something that is not the typical two people just come together like at school or whatever type romance, which is a popular one. This is very much just the two characters primarily with a few side characters going through like an emotional roller coaster. And towards the end, it gets a lot more heavy, which is nice. That they're going into it and you start to see him turn around. So that one is available on Funimation and not Crunchyroll. What was your next one? Which I think is our last before rankings.
Well, for our favorites rather, or honorable mentions, that kind of category.
Yeah.
We've got Demon Slayer, a show which I skipped the first 7 episodes because I saw the movie already.
Yeah.
I will eventually go back because I was told that more gets added, more personalization, and
yeah, Demon Slayer. It's Demon Slayer, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's still gorgeous. I've been watching the second half of the season, which is the Entertainment District, and it's still Demon Slayer. It's still gorgeous, and I read the whole thing already.
So I guess you're into it. I've not actually watched 2 episodes. I think it's 2 that's been out since the Mugen Train arc, the 7
arc. Yeah.
So I've not watched them. So I'll eventually dig into them. But no, it looks like it. The art's still gorgeous. I will say it seems like there's maybe I'm just not noticing it as much because so much Demon Slayer's been out. But I'm not noticing the crazy like fire or water abilities as much. I don't know if we're just getting used to it at this point.
That's a possibility. I noticed them a lot in the movie. I don't know anything about the first 7 episodes. Yeah. And the first 2 episodes of the Entertainment haven't had combat. It's just been set up.
Which makes sense. But yeah, it just seems like I'm not noticing it as much. I wonder if it is just that we've been trained now. Because when Demon Slayer first came out, that was
show-shoppingly gorgeous.
Yeah, I almost want to say revolutionary. Like just the first time you see the water, like his water abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, is it gorgeous looking?
Yeah.
But I wonder if they're just going to have to step up the game for us to notice as much. I do think it was pretty much on par. They did a pretty good job with the characters. Looked just as good. The demons were entertaining and unique, fresh. They had some fresh ideas with them. This is the first time we see an upper, I think, in the entire show. I don't think we saw an upper at all during the first season.
Yeah, they showed up in sides, but I think this is the first time we see an upper.
Yeah, definitely the first time we see an upper fight. So impressive. I mean, it's nice that they're expanding on that premise and story. So I like it, but yeah, to me, it wasn't gut-wrenching enough or anything to top list. It was more of an on par building a little bit. So spoiler. I might have to cut that part. That's a pretty big spoiler. Anyway, let's get into top rankings. So I guess what we'll do here is kind of go back and forth because I don't think we share one, I think.
Yeah.
We share one.
Yes.
Let's do it that way. Okay, so my number 5 ranked show is just wrapped up, and that's The World's Finest Assassin Gets Reincarnated in Another World as an Aristocrat. I'm tempted to try the Japanese name again.
No, not again.
We tried it. We tried it during the drop, Watcher Drop.
Yeah, the Watcher Drop.
Oh no, I'm not going to try. Anyway, this one is available on Funimation. Did we say we didn't say Demon Slayer was Crunchyroll and Funimation? It's on both. So, World's Finest Assassin. It's a guy, but I really think they're doing a good job of.
I like the fact that a lot of people have been isekai to this world.
Yeah, that is a good point. I do love the fact that is a literal. It's just jokes. Like it's
Yeah,
just an
it's
added
just
joke
there for a joke for to just isekai people to this world.
because that is an interesting part of Assassin is it takes itself serious as an isekai. Like it's taken itself serious, but at the same time, it is making fun of other isekais, like the trope. And I do love how
Mhm.
that's happening in
Yeah,
there.
we're isekaiing the best of X.
She's literally just pulling like the best of X,
Yeah,
Y, and she's been doing this for hundreds of years.
it seems like, or 100 years, 40 years,
I
a
think
long time.
a lot, yeah, long enough where you're wondering like, is there multiple heroes that she's wanted stopped, not just this one? And like these past ones were, I don't know, but it's great because it's
Maybe.
quick little jokes. Here's this strongest person, and then she checks in on them. So you're talking like a few minute joke, and they're hilarious. I love them so much. Uh, but I do love the fact that they're taking that look at it's serious, good amount of humor, and they're going about it in an interesting way. I think I know who the hero is. I think we'll see if I'm right. I'm not gonna say it because it'd be a bit of a spoiler.
I have
Um,
no idea. I don't think I've watched the most recent episode. So
um, I mean, I thought I knew who it was like episode 3.
okay.
So we'll see. We'll see. Curious if I'm going to be right. I wouldn't be surprised if like at some point we cover this, though. Who knows if it'll be after this season? Because I'm betting this gets a second season. Uh,
That seems likely. It seems pretty popular.
so we might end up covering it before a second season happens. 'Cause I think it's a good isekai coverage.
Hmm.
No, that one is. I think I said already Funimation. So
So on my top five is Laid Back Camp.
oh, you have the actual.
Yeah,
How's the manga?
it's just more Laid Back Camp or Gyoryu Camp.
Hiruka?
Uh,
Is it the same stories? Did they direct rip it, or are they different
yeah, it's
stories?
it's basically one-to-one
Okay,
transfers to the point where I don't have any of the earlier books because I already
so
watched the
you
show.
continuation. Um,
Yeah,
oh man, I need to get caught up on Euro Camp.
it's
It's
so good. It's just a comfy girls going camping and nothing particularly bad happens. They did go camping once and they didn't bring warm enough clothes, but they were rescued within like 20 seconds of them finding out they were going to freeze to death.
okay. All right. It does say something that I forget what that style. I should know what that style of anime or story is called because we literally just did Flying
Did
Witch,
Flying Witch just
and that I had
go
it
read
in the
off that
title.
title?
It's
Yeah,
literally in the title of the episode. Uh, but it's interesting that one of those got into your top 5. That must say a good amount because, as we said,
I
with
I
restaurant,
adore your camp.
it's
It got me into the whole concept, I believe,
yeah.
of like a comfy nothing show.
I know we both absolutely adored it when the first season came out. Like
Hmm.
we talked a good amount about it. It's such a good slice of life. No drama, just fun little high school people interacting and camping.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
will give them props that they go into a good amount of detail about camping.
yeah, yeah, and they give advice on what to do in terms of camping, like make sure you set up fire breaks for your campfire,
Yeah, I could
and
easily see.
don't use regular pots because they'll just burn the bottom.
Yeah, I could see. You could easily watch. I think that show and then go out and fairly successfully go camping if you've never
Unless
been
you're that
camping.
one guy in Japan who went camping after watching that show and then started a forest fire. Yeah, I don't think he followed some of the advice in the show.
Probably not. If he started a fire, probably not. Because they like we said, they do go into a good amount of detail of like
Hmm.
how safety stuff works and all that. Um, I'd be interested what time of the year he went because if he went like during fall, maybe it was
Yeah, it would
the
have been more likely to.
leaves and all that down, and you have to be careful. But yeah, it's such a good, relaxing, simple show. I think it's available on Crunchyroll. Um, so yeah, go ahead and watch it. I highly recommend it if you like calming, relaxing anime
Yeah,
like we do. So I guess my rank number 4, because we're on for 5-1, is The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime.
yeah, this is on my rank too. It is an excellent still isekai. But this is what, season 3, season 4, because there was that halfway in between season of like comfy world building season done by a different studio. Yes, I think season 3 aired earlier this year. So, and it was an excellent like action show.
Yeah, this season was it's still a decent amount of non-action because that show
Mhm.
they do get into like controlling a country slash running
Right,
a large group of people. Um, so there's a decent amount of
and
that.
a little bit of spy work in some of that as well.
Yeah, I think the thing I loved the most about this season is we finally addressed. There's been the buildup about the demon lords, and we finally got into the premise of the demon lords.
And we met the demon lord. Spoiler, barely.
Yeah, it's not much of a spoiler.
That, yeah, that's in the intro song as they do.
Yeah,
They show them.
so it's really nice to see that they've done a good job of building up that premise that you have to kind of control power creep a little bit of keeping yourself low at the beginning. Like, let's have him fight a person. Now have him fight a slightly stronger person. Now have him fight a group of people. Like, we've built up to, we're finally getting to the part where it's gonna get interesting because we're gonna start finding out how the power creep goes. Where now
we're at pretty high power
yeah.
creep here.
So are they going to control it or become Dragon Ball?
Or is this going to fall? I don't think it's going to fall into Dragon Ball, but I feel like it's going to be more countryside because everybody now knows how strong Rimuru is.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think we still have a few ticks. They kind of hint at the Demon Lords are not the strongest people out there. So we'll see where we go from there. Because I think they even say like the dragons are slightly stronger than them.
Right. Yeah.
But we don't need to get too much into.
Yeah.
It's more slime. If you really like slime, it is more slime. They definitely
if you like an isekai that is action based, that is non-human character. If you like monsters,
yeah,
the intro song is dope.
It is. It very
a
much
lot
is.
of these songs are really good.
Yeah, I mean, I will admit, Taisho, Otome, oh, that intro, love it.
We haven't even gotten into songs for any of these, but I wanted to call that one out.
Yeah, that was a good. It reminded me, actually, Assassin as well. I think their intro is. Oh, Taisho and Assassin, both of their intros ended up on my Spotify playlist because they're both so excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your rank number 4 then?
My rank number 4 was I'm a Spider, So What?
Yeah.
Which is another isekai with a non-human protagonist. In which,
let me guess, they're a arachnid.
Yeah, she gets reincarnated as a spider and is thrown to basically the bottomless pit of the bottom of the dungeon, or the end game dungeon, basically.
Yeah, this is a show that someone tried. Well, another one that happened while I was not active, I believe. And someone tried to get me into it, but I've not. There's a good amount of episodes out, if I remember right.
I believe there were 24 episodes back to back.
Yeah.
So
they tried to get me into it during this last airing, so it was like 20. But
yeah, it is a lot to dump on somebody.
Yeah, it's in my list of, if I have the time to binge 20 plus episodes, finish, because I think we got like 2-3 episodes in. It does look good. I will say the animation looked really good on it.
It's pretty good. Nobody is a fan of CG. They use CG appropriately.
Yeah, and some don't.
Not everything. Yeah, some the CG is overt and everywhere. They use the CG where it's necessary and regular animation for the rest of it.
Which like I said, I've not gotten into it. How much plot is it? A lot of plot in this, or more?
So there's like 2 simultaneous stories. There's the I'm getting stronger and holy crap, I'm getting way too strong side with the spider, whose name I've forgotten because she forgot her name for part of it, or didn't mention it to anyone.
Okay.
Because there's nobody to talk to at the bottom of the dungeon besides monsters, and monsters don't talk. And then there's the because okay, it's reincarnation, but her whole classroom gets reincarnated. She gets turned into a spider. Other members of her classroom get turned into humanoid races.
All right.
So part of the story is following their lives as children and teens going up as often very important members of kingdoms.
So it has that same premise as like Fruits of Evolution, where it's like a whole group of people get transferred in, and she just happens to be the unique one, like in a different circumstance than everyone else.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe the god who transferred them said, we put you in positions that are most match your personality.
Interesting. And she became a
And then
spider.
she threw a tantrum about being considered a spider.
All right. I think I forgot to mention Slime's on Crunchyroll and Funimation, and Spider is, I know, on Crunchyroll. I don't know if it's on Funimation, but you can watch it on Crunchyroll at least. That's where he tried to get me to watch it. No, so yeah, so I guess
it would be easier.
So if someone likes isekai with a twist, once again, monstrous, I guess, interesting story. Yeah, it sounds like that's a good one.
I'm a huge fan of monstrous protagonists as well as this guy's. So
that was your number 4. So my number 3 is Banished from the Hero's Party. So
another one currently airing.
Another one that just aired. They're pretty much all ones that just aired. Part of me does wonder if part of that's why I felt more strongly about them. But I think a lot of it's to remind people.
A lot of good stuff aired right now.
Yeah. And part of it to remind people is I didn't watch much in winter and spring for this year. So there's a bunch of stuff that was earlier in there that I didn't get into. Let me know down below if there's stuff from that time frame I should go back and watch. No, but Banished from the Hero's Party, it's another one that's kind of a relaxing. This one has more of a romance to it.
Yeah.
But it's
the one every episode I'm saying die normies.
Yep. Pretty much.
I've texted you a couple of times with that.
Yeah, it is very much. I love the premise behind it. It's another one of those strong person in a situation where like everyone around them is way weaker because he's out in the boonies where
but he's hiding his power.
Yeah, hiding his power because he just wants. It's another one of strong person wants a normal life. Yeah.
Yes,
I love that premise behind it, and it's fun to see how he goes about utilizing his power to like help the place that he lives, but at the same time try not to make it too obvious that he's super strong or in a circumstance of being stronger than everyone else, I guess.
Right.
They do a great job with it. Towards the end, they get more into why people are labeling it as an adventure on top of like romance slice of life. And the way they're going about it, I think, is really nice. I want to see more. I hope more comes out.
I hope we get another season of this because I want to see where they go with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of adventure they could add into it that would be very entertaining. So I really hope they continue it. If you are a romance fan and want something that's not the typical like high school type situation, it is excellent for that because it's calming and they go about it a good way where it's obvious from the beginning the two of them like each other, but they ease into it.
Yes,
I think in a more natural way.
More natural, slow than some of the romances you get thrown into.
And the fact that I don't think at any point the calming part to it is I think they get together before at any point they actually recognize or verbally recognize that they're together, which I think is a very natural way to go about it. It's not like confession, we're now together.
Everyone else can see that they're dating before even they admit that they're dating.
Yeah, which is, from my past experience, was very how it happens. Maybe that was just me. I don't know.
I mean, that happened to me as well. So
yeah, I think it's pretty natural. It's on Funimation. I highly recommend it for a slice of life romance fantasy. So check that out. So what was your number 3?
My number 3 is Jobless Reincarnation. And it is gorgeous, and it is just a more continuation of Granddaddy Isekai original.
Yeah, I do find it funny for those of you who have watched our Watch or Drop episode, where I said that I had not watched it. I had watched it, and
you found out later. You had watched it.
I forgot.
Forgotten.
Yeah, it was one of those shows I was like, I don't think I ended up watching that. Like every time I scrolled past it, but no, I had totally watched it, and I am watching it for that reason. I got caught up on it. It's yeah. I had talked to you about the action is gorgeous for
Yes,
animation.
it's so good.
I cannot think of a single anime that animates action better than Jobless does.
Mhm.
It is amazing towards the end. I was talking about in a spar. It is like the fact they have characters flipping, like twisting around in air and striking down on screen. None of
Yeah,
this like show their face.
cut, and
Yeah.
then cut to coming in,
So huge shout
or the
out.
backgrounds.
Yeah, like straight up just showing. It's astounding. I think the same thing in that spar where you see the character, they show the character and they have a spear entering frame, striking at him
Yeah,
multiple times, and them
and it
deflecting
goes
each
right
one.
by the face.
Yeah, like deflecting them and dodging them all on screen. Like none of it cut away.
Mhm.
So huge
It is
props.
absolutely gorgeous in all aspects.
Yeah, I think the
And
general animations passable, like perfectly
yeah,
acceptable, but the action is astounding. So huge props to the studio. We actually looked this up. It was a studio that split out from another purely
to
to
create
do
this.
this because the CEO of the production company really loves this. So he uh, made a contract with another company, a studio, to form a section that purely works on this. And you can tell that
Yeah,
they're getting more time to focus on the animation and do a good job.
you get one chance to do this right, and he was like, "I've got to do it right."
Yeah, that huge props to those guys. Power to you. Keep it up. That CEO, uh, do this with other stuff that you love. I fully
Yeah,
support this. And
rich people, please just fund your favorite animes.
yes, please just fund your favorite projects and give them the time and dedication they need because it purely shows. For anyone who loves action, isekai, I will give the warning that Jobless, if you have not seen it, does have
He's
a perverted aspect to it.
it is
He's a
very
pervert.
he's definitely a pervert, including his father, which you can throw off as saying like, "Oh, it was his dad's fault," but no, he
No,
was a pervert through
he,
and through.
he was a pervert shut in before he was isekai. So yes, it does have that part of it. So if you were really against watching
Yeah,
perverts, otherwise, fully check it out. Support the project. Support the idea of a CEO putting his money and stuff behind something he really likes. Because oh man, does it show?
at least in this case.
In this case, maybe not every case. That one is, I believe, Funimation. Yes, Funimation. It was one of the ones I had to watch on Funimation. So check it out on Funimation, uh, and I highly recommend it as well. It did not make my top 5. I think purely because
The
the
chaos in remembering what you had done.
well that and the perversion for me is almost a little too heavy-handed. His
That's
perversion,
that's fair.
the
That's
dad,
fair.
I didn't mind as much, but his
Yeah, well,
perversion's a little heavy-handed.
yeah,
Uh,
that's fair.
so it couldn't make top 5. So that was your number 3. So I guess my number 2, Arena, the Vampire Cosmonaut. So you got me to watch
Also,
this.
I did. It was excellent. And you come back and you're like, I watched everything, and
Yep.
now I've missed a couple episodes, and you're caught up, I believe.
Yep. I'm totally caught up in this one. This is one of the ones that when a new episode comes out, I'm right on top of it.
Mhm.
To no surprise, my number 3 and number 2 are romances. I absolutely adore Arena of the Vampire Cosmonaut. Animation is, I'd say, above average. It looks
Yeah,
gorgeous.
that's fair.
It's really clean look to it. I do love um, the contrast that they add to it. Stuff like the jumpsuit is an orange jumpsuit, and it works really well with the muted backtones that a lot of the times they use. I think the plot is building wonderfully. It is at first a little slow, but that's usually pretty standard as you're building the idea, the characters out.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And like, oh, here's why they're put in this situation.
yeah.
Then you can have romance bloom.
But it picks up pretty good towards the end. Once they've kind of gotten into it and you're comfortable with where things are at, it picks up and actually develops into a really nice story, I think. I want more, but I don't see how they could really do much more.
Okay.
So I love
We'll
it.
find
I
that
adore
out
it.
eventually.
Yeah, we'll find out eventually. The way they develop out the romance, I think, is great. Highly recommend it. It's on Funimation. You don't have to really be huge on romances to, I think, enjoy the story anyway.
Right. Yeah. I'm enjoying it, and I'm not a huge romance fan, but
Yeah, it's just they do an excellent job with the romance. So your number 2 we talked about already.
yep.
Yours was
Which was
Slime.
Slime Tensei.
So actually,
So
you go number 1.
yeah. So my number 1 is Jujitsu Kaisen, or Sorcery Fight, which I prefer the Japanese name because
Sounds
Sorcery
better.
Fight sounds stupid.
It's the amount of times that happens though, where you translate and it's just almost too direct,
Mm-hmm.
which you can tell the translation it isn't quite right.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
I really like this because it is very much a action show in the vein of like classical Yu Yu Hakusho or Bleach, of like monsters in modern times. I'm a huge mark for monsters in modern times, usually in Japan.
I think a lot of that's it's so easy to relate to because
Mhm.
obviously we live in modern time. We understand our world's rules, so it's fun to see them broken or changed.
Yeah, the supernatural hidden behind the veil sort of thing.
Yeah,
Um, but the story appears to be excellent, um, with character growth, and we've got gorgeous fight scenes.
I,
Excellent fight scenes. Almost, I wouldn't say they're as good as Jobless, but I think they're up there.
so what's this available on to watch? Because I actually don't even know if I've seen this.
It is still available on Crunchyroll,
It's on Crunchyroll.
and Funimation.
All right. So yeah, it sounds like it might be something I got to go back and binge watch. So it's action in modern time, kind of supernatural. So
Yeah.
I would assume, yeah, anyone who likes that uh, probably would enjoy it. Then I'm gonna have to go check that out. So,
Yeah.
all right, you said that's available on Crunchyroll and Funimation. So if you guys want to watch it as well, go check it out there. I guess on to my number 1, which I will already say that my number 1 and number 2, I was hard
Well,
placing these.
mhm.
Um, but my number 1 is Komi-san. It's a
Yeah.
romance. Go figure. My top 3.
I didn't think that was going to be any different.
Like I said, it is. I almost say my top 3 are very interchangeable. It
You're
was
just
really
like a
hard to rank
huge
them.
romance mark.
Yeah, all 3 of them are romances, and they all do, I think, an excellent job at it because I don't think any of them are aggressively in your face, like slap you in the
Hmm.
face romance. They all are more natural. They play them out really well. But Komi-san, I think a big part with Komi-san is at the same time, um, the romance is very late. Like they almost like you can tell that they're liking each other, but they do push it back to very late in the season.
Hmm.
It's almost on a back foot to where you could almost not call it a romance and more of this friendship type thing that they have going on. But great humor, excellent animation. It looks gorgeous. Um, they do a good
Yeah,
job of playing it.
you can tell that Netflix threw a bunch of money at it.
Yeah, it's so well done from that standpoint. And I think we mentioned in the Watcher Drop at the same time that the animation, when they go low, like lo-fi or low detail, still looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
The way it's colored, characters are very well fleshed out. I think almost
I, I don't know. The main characters are fleshed out. The side characters are literally just what they need to be.
well, but I guess a good way I'm putting it is they maintain themselves. They don't
Mhm.
seem to do stuff that doesn't fit. They seem to always
Sure,
stay
they
on
keep
point.
within their personality, basically.
Yeah, they're
Sort of
not
thing.
using them as a plot toy where like they seem to do stuff that isn't quite to their personality. But there is a lot of side characters, which makes sense. He's trying to help her get 100 friends. You're gonna have a lot of side characters that just drop in for a little bit. But yeah,
Mhm.
the main group is pretty well fleshed out. Uh, Yeah, I think they did an excellent job with it. I'm curious to see where it's going to go if they take it anywhere else. I would love to see more.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel like it's done well enough to get another season from Netflix.
it's still, most of the rankings I see, it's still like top 3 for the season, as it's being ranked, that range. So I would hope that means enough. If Netflix is behind it, I think that's more likely that they're going to get an extra season. Netflix seems to be putting a lot of money into stuff. Like I think Shaman King's got an
Yeah,
extra season this time around. Uh, so yeah, I would hope they add more to it. That is Netflix. So for those of you who say don't care for sub as much, it actually is getting dubbed as it goes, I believe, which is why they're like 2 weeks
yeah.
behind.
I think it's a 2 weeks behind on the dub.
Yeah, so that way it's dubbed. So if you're not huge on watching subs, you actually get dubs very quickly for this one since it's on Netflix. So you can go ahead and watch it. I will say comedy is a strong point for this one. As a comedy slash slice of life romance, it's got a good amount of comedy, which is enjoyable.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm still a fan, and I'm more of a fan of the comedy slice of life than I am the romance. But I can definitely appreciate the romance for what it is.
yeah, I think a lot of that is because it's so pushed back and
Yeah,
not in your face.
I mean, yeah, you're dealing with a guy who has very low self confidence and a girl who has somehow less self confidence. She's just gorgeous.
So yeah, so Komi-san, available on Netflix. I highly recommend it to people who like that high school, like I guess slight coming of age, slice of life comedy with a bit of romance. Um, so yeah, that was our top 5. If you want it as well, I will list in the description or whatever those out, as well as links to the various shows. Let us know what your list was for this last year. What was your favorite stuff? What's your top 5 rankings? Once again, email us animedigression@gmail.com or tweet at us at animedigression. Or if you're watching on YouTube, comment down below. Let us know your list. Let us know if you agree with a lot of the shows that we talked about or if we're complete trash. With all that aside, thank you so much for listening / watching, and we hope to see all of you at our next episode. Bye.
Bye bye.